young, I think it's the kids and Botox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the We're So Young podcast. Today we have Florangel Gopo, and she is a teacher. She is an inspiration, and she is also one of the most creative, non-stop, hardworking people I've ever known since I was like 13. Yeah. She was actually my 8th grade English teacher, but we've stayed in touch until now, which is way past 8th grade. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. My kids are 15 and 12. When I had you as a student, that 12-year-old was in my belly. I teach part-time right now. About 4 years ago, we decided it was too much with John traveling, John being my husband, for me to continue working full-time. I was literally burning the candle at both ends, and our son had just started middle school, and it became a lot being here alone and managing everything with their schedules. So I went in and I said I wasn't going to come back to work. And they came back with, well, what if you could do it every other day? And I was like, oh, that sounds like something I might like. And I said I could try it for a year and see how it goes, and you could see how it goes, and we could take it from there. It has honestly been the perfect balance because I get to do what I love and enjoy doing, but at the same time, my family has a mom, not, as we say, a mom bee.
Right.
Because I was like in zombie mode most of the time. If you ask my kids about me going back to work, they would say, full-time, they would say, absolutely not. She's in a better mood this way. They're such jerks. And the other part that they like is that I go to like 5 different grocery stores and they come home and everything they want is here. This is a rough week around here because we came back from a trip late Sunday night and I haven't gone to those 5 grocery stores. So every day, there are no cookies. You didn't buy my orange juice. Where's this? Guys, I haven't had time. They don't get it. Because it's been 4 years already. They've gotten used to having me there all the time. About 6 years ago, I decided that I really loved photography and that I should give it a try. Why not? And I started with friends, just playing around with my camera. I spoke to one of our old teacher friends, Miss Palladino.
Yes.
And I asked her for help. And she gave me some guidance, and little by little, it kind of became like a little side business, my little photography business. And it's fun and I love it, but it started to become more difficult as the kids got older. My husband traveling, same thing, it's playing again into the problem. And now they're in more activities. My son Rose, and we're always on the road.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Always on the road. I mean, in the spring, it's crazy. I think I sleep in my house one weekend. April, May. It's pretty bad. Let's not even get started on the doggy hotel bill.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Yeah, that's rough.
Yes.
That's rough.
Yes.
And you have 2. It's not just one.
2. And, of course, you can't just leave them anywhere. So you leave them at the best place.
Right.
And the best place ain't cheap. With that being said, I started to calm it down a little bit because I just really didn't have the time. Then fast forward to this summer or the spring, a really good friend of mine tells me, I have this stuff that I want and this other lady makes it, but it's really expensive. I know you're crafty. Can you try to make it for me? I said, sure. I happened to mention it to another friend of mine who has bought also. And she goes, you can totally do that. In one of our rowing expeditions, we went to Michael's and I bought the stuff. And I couldn't do anything at that time because that's the crazy time for that rowing business. End of June, school ended. Life starts to go a little slower. We don't live and die by the clock anymore. I said, okay, let me give this a try. I create the Instagram, start making the stuff. This has blown up.
And what exactly is this stuff?
Okay, so I'm into this whole, as you can see, farmhouse decor thing. I'm like obsessed.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not also an interior designer. Your house is not an apartment. It's like it's like what is that couple?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's the inspiration around here.
It's exactly what I think it is, you know.
She's talking about fixer-upper.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Well, my daughter wants to be Joanna Gaines when she grows up, so.
Oh, well, she has perfect inspiration from her mom.
So here we go. Basically, it's like these farmhouse stack books that everybody gets personalized and puts in their home as a decorative item. But also, it's almost like little wood bead garlands. Some people want them as rosaries. Some, not everybody wants crosses all over their home. Some want it with hearts or just with different colors for the seasons. And as you can see behind me, business is booming.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So in 4 months, this has gotten pretty crazy around here. I mean, this looks pretty bad when it's painting book day. So it's just decorative items for the house, and because people get to personalize them, I think there's something special to be said about personalized items.
Yeah, 100%.
And especially when it's for a home. So it's blown up, and that's pretty much it. I mean, and then on top of that, I threw my antics into it because, as we all know, I tend to be a little obsessive compulsive. As you see, I collect Ray Dunn. And people have enjoyed these expeditions that I take to Marshall's to hunt this stuff down, because there are women that literally fight for these things, these items at the store. It's crazy. It's actually quite crazy. I can't even believe it.
Now if I ever see something like that, I'm gonna grab it for her.
The thing is that there's some items that are more sought after than others.
Yeah.
For instance, like a lot of the stuff I have right here is really simple, but like the little bird houses and stuff, like these women, my husband went yesterday to Dolphin Mall. This is a funny story. And I put him on my missions too. I go, oh, you're going to go? Can you look for this? Can you look for that? And he says, listen, I asked the manager and she says that isn't here. But she also says that she's got some women standing at the door at 9:30 when they open the doors, that they almost trample each other to get to the carts before they even put it on the shelves. That's how bad this is. He's like, don't ever send me to do your dirty work again.
That's funny.
So this kind of goes with those farmhouse stacks, those wood bead garlands, and people have been buying into it. I mean, lucky me. It's something that was it started off as, let me try it out. And it's blown up. And honestly, somebody asked me today, I don't know how you have the patience. And I said, you want to know something? It kind of helps me. It helps me kind of like unwind, because it's something I enjoy doing. I can see how a less creative person would find it challenging, but for me, it's kind of like
it's like a zen, yeah.
It's a stress reliever.
And you do writing on it as well.
Yes, with the vinyl, which is what you saw that I was picking at earlier today. Most people, they're called farmhouse stacks, but most people stamp them, which is nice. But I was like, oh, how let's make it a little more permanent.
Right.
And it also pops a little more. It's a little darker. So that's what makes mine a little bit different from the typical ones you might find on Etsy or in other Instagram accounts.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to make your stuff a little different.
Do you plan on putting it on Etsy as well?
I tried. Etsy kind of takes a proceed of your portions.
Oh, that's not good.
Portion of your proceeds. I said that backwards. I mean, it's not that bad. I'm currently trying to create a website because it's gotten so intense that I'm having a hard time keeping up with orders.
Right.
So I think it's best at this point to create a website and let people do everything through there. I'm even shipping stuff around the country. I had a lady from Hawaii contact me the other day.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've shipped to a lady in Phoenix twice. I've shipped to Fort Myers. So, like I said, this has been
a growing business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you as a person, you're just very much of a go-getter, and you have like the green thumb for businesses, It's the same, it's the same thing with the photography. It just kind of like, and I think it comes with your attitude, and it comes with and I say attitude in a good way, like it's your spirit, you're a very go-getter person, and you're very like open, and you're social, and I think that is very good for this kind of business.
I think what it is that I try not to half-ass anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know this. I didn't study to be a teacher.
No,
I studied to be a journalist.
Actually, I think I did know that.
And when my family dream started to grow, I started to see that journalist dream kind of fade, especially My husband travels for work. Both of us are going to travel. I mean, I don't want to be a reporter sitting behind a desk. I wanted to be like in Afghanistan covering the war.
Right.
So I had to decide what was more important to me at that time. Then I started doing, because my degree opens the door to do a lot of different things, I started doing public relations. But then I was always out of the house. And I was coming home late, and I had just had my son, and I would see him like an hour a day. And I was like, this is not the kind of mom I want to be. I want to be a mom that's involved. I want to be a mom that's there for my kid. And looking back right now, it's the best thing I did, because you don't believe people when you're younger, but time does go really fast. I have a kid that's going to go to college in 2 years.
Wait, what?
I sit and I think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, we're almost there. And I'm not looking forward to it. Everyone always tells you, oh, enjoy the years. They're going to go by so fast, especially when your kids are little. At one point in your life, you'll get there and you'll see where I'm coming from. And you're like, these people talk so much crap. I just want sleep. I need this kid to stop running around. I need them to stop putting things in their mouth. I'm in a completely different world right now. I have completely different problems. My kid is starting to drive. I'm like, oh my God, I wish he was putting things in his mouth again. Driving is scary.
Yeah.
It's like your heart gets in a car and just leaves. And you're like, heart, please come back. Yeah. That you can't do anything about it. Like, you want to hold them, but you can't. So John suggested that, why don't I try teaching? And I was like, teaching? Are you sure? He goes, yeah, I mean, you like writing, you like reading, why not? So he was good friends with Tiger Nunez.
Yes.
And Tiger, they interviewed me, and they told me a matter, and they asked me if I would teach language arts, drama, and speech and debate.
Oh my God, I forgot you taught drama. I have a vivid memory of you lip singing to Britney Spears.
Yes. I mean, Jesus Christ, things that'll go down in history. That drama class, I mean,
camera phones were not as big of a thing.
Thank God. Thank God. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm blushing because remembering that, it's out of control. I looked at them and I was like, drama? The most drama I've ever done is like a Grease play in middle school. I don't know anything about drama. I would literally read the chapter before I had to teach it. Speech and debate, walk in the park for me. Language arts, walk in the park for me. But that drama class was probably the most challenging thing ever. And I mean, I also wasn't used to dealing with teenagers. That was like a whole new realm for me.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you were very good at it.
Because there has to be a good balance. It's called tough love. You have to be motherly, but at the same time, you have to be stern.
Yeah.
You can be a friend, but there has to be a line. And I find that the kids need to understand that there's a line there. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I don't know why I like middle school better. When I tell people that, they look at me like I'm crazy.
No, I do too when I teach, actually. Because they're at an age that's so moldable that you can make them a good person or a bad person kind of thing, like...
And they're still scared.
Exactly.
High schoolers aren't scared.
Yeah, they're not.
Like, my son doesn't give a crap. He's at that age where he just doesn't give a crap. I tell him things and he looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, Sometimes I want to punch him. So, looking back, it's one of the best things I've ever done. One of the best decisions. But like I said, I don't half-ass anything. I mean, before I left Matter, I was Teacher of the Year. And that was thanks to you guys. I had nothing to do with that. Because that was a year where the students got to speak about the teacher. And it was the first time in Teacher of the Year history that happened. And you guys sold me. I didn't sell myself. And I think that's really important in a school, that a teacher should be sold by the kids, not the other teachers. It's not a popularity contest at the end of the day.
Right.
So I left there and I came over here. I was there for about 6 years. I came right here, 9 blocks from my house, working for Tiger's niece.
Okay.
Because it continues. But someone from our Matter family was also there, Miss Estrada.
Okay.
Who knew my work ethic and knew what I did. And I came over here and I was so sad. I missed all my Hialeah kids. I missed all my friends. It was so hard for me. That first year, I was so angry every single day. I've never been so bitter about going to work.
Aww.
And that's kind of what made the spark for the photography business. I was like, I need to find something else. I'm not going to do this. The demographics out here are different. The kids are so spoiled. It's completely different than what I'm used to. I don't want to do this anymore. So the faster I can get out of it, the better. In my mind, I didn't think I was ever going to be able to quit working. So that wasn't something that was even a thought back then. Lo and behold, second year comes around, and I have this amazing group of kids that reminded me so much of your group. I mean, it was like I would look forward to seeing them. And the kids kind of like, I said this the other day, they keep me young. That's what it is. My husband said something in the car the other day. He had no clue what he was saying, but he's not exposed to teenagers all the time. Something about being left on red. But he doesn't know what that means. He thinks it's color.
Color?
Yeah, like red.
Oh, red, like the red, the color.
Yes. So my son and I look at him like, what are you talking about? And he goes, what do you guys mean? The color. What does that mean? And he's like shaken up because he has no idea what it means, but Junior and I know what it means. And I'm like, honey, it means that you read the message, but you didn't respond. And he's like, oh, I go, where did you hear that? And he wouldn't tell us in the car because he didn't want the kids to hear. So he told me later on, and it became like a whole thing. And the only reason I know what that is because I deal with teenagers.
Right.
So then I think of, do I really want to get out of that? Because then I'll really be in the dark. Like, I'll have no clue what the hell's going on.
I mean, I feel in the dark a lot, too. Like, it's funny because I teach a lot of middle schoolers acting, and sometimes they'll say things, and I'm like, you guys are so hip, you know? I feel so old, and I'm like, I'm not old. I'm not.
No,
Yeah.
None of us are old.
No.
Absolutely not.
It's a mindset, really.
It really is. And that's something, the driving force for teaching for me has always been the kids. And you're going to come across great kids, and you're going to come across kids that unfortunately are jerks for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's battling with something that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And that's another thing in my mindset. I try not to take everything personal. I do feel deeper than most people, and sometimes I might not let people know that they hurt me, but I do hurt, but I try to understand the reason behind the hurt.
Right.
So a lot of kids at school, when I see that they're misbehaving or they're just jerks, it happens. I have a few even this year, and I try to think, I wonder what their home life is like. Maybe they don't get attention at home. Not every kid is growing up in a loving home.
Right.
So if I'm the person that gives them that love, it is what it is. I mean, I've dealt with the death of a parent as a teacher. That was brutal. And pregnant. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. I'll never forget as long as I live. And that child and I are still in contact as well. I've heard of, that they haven't told me, but I've heard of abusive parents. I have 2 little girls from this school. I call them little girls, but they're not little girls anymore. They're women too. They're at UF. It's 2 sisters that they've become like adopted. They babysit my kids.
Oh.
She bought me, when she went away to college, she bought me a shirt that says Florida Mom.
Aww.
So it's that kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
And they'll call me, we're in town. Are you going to be home? And they come over. Their mom and I have also built a very nice relationship. So it is possible for a teacher and kids to have a relationship. And again, I take it all back to the kids. I didn't think I was capable of teaching, but I grabbed the bull by the horns, especially drama, and I did it. And it's something that I don't go to work, even if I'm in a bad mood, but I need to perform correctly at work. That's important to me. So as I said, it's all about, for me, not doing anything half-ass. If I'm going to start painting books and selling books to people and garlands and rosaries or whatever, they need to be perfect.
Right.
Because if not, I'm not going to sell them.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense to.
Right. And with my photography business, it was the same thing. It's very important to me to give 100% all the time. So somebody asked me today if I sleep. That was a funny question. I looked at her and I go, of course I sleep. If I didn't sleep, I would kill people. My mother-in-law says that the average person has 24 hours in a day. She says that I function at a speed that I make it seem like I have 36 hours in my day. She says that I'm not normal, the amount of things I accomplish. So I really think it's just my drive. I really think that's what it is. But it's really the kids that keep me young. My daughter appreciates that I love Taylor Swift just like she does.
Oh my God, you guys have the cutest mother-daughter relationship.
We do fight.
I mean, but
And she tries to have the last word.
she's at that age.
She's a little special sometimes.
12. That's crazy.
She's 12. She's going to be 13 and so she's 12 and a half almost.
Oh, yeah. And that age is a special age.
See, my son just became special at like 14, 15. That he wasn't special till then. Again, both really good kids. I feel sometimes I might complain about them, but we are so blessed. I mean, our kids get great grades. They try so hard in school. They definitely see the drive that their father and I have, and they push forward as well.
Yeah.
So, as far as keeping me young, it's definitely my job. That's one. And how I manage everything, I really just think it's my drive, my personality, my need to do everything 100%.
Yeah. And how do you manage like a personal life, like your home life now, you know, because you are going like 7 miles a minute, you know, so how is that with your home life? Like your family's so beautiful, you know, and
Thank
everybody
you.
sees it, and I feel like everybody's always like, you guys are like family goals, you know, because you guys are like,
I promise that there's drama in here too.
well, yeah, but there has to be, you know, like there has to be, but there's so much evident love and like commitment to all of, you know, you guys as like a whole and as a unit, and it's so evident. That's so beautiful to see. So how that's not easy, you know, so how do you get through that? How do you get there, you know?
I think going back to becoming a teacher, I made the decision for my son. I didn't really make it for myself. I did it for him. To be there for him, to spend more time with him, to be the mom my mom was. That's what I wanted for them. My kids have a home-cooked meal every night, except Friday and Saturday. We don't eat out. We never eat fast food. McDonald's has been eliminated from this house entirely.
Good.
So I'm not their favorite person for that reason, because I pack everything organic and then they go and buy junk food. But
They'll thank you.
eventually they will see the light. But for now, it's a little issue. I think it's because John and I put them first. Every decision, every choice we make, we try to make it with them in mind. And I don't think they see it all the time, because I think all kids, you don't see sacrifices or things your parents do for you. I also have a partner that I wrote it last night. I feel like I dreamt him up as a little girl. I can't even begin. I'm gonna start crying. I can't. He puts up with my crazy. He spoils me rotten, but with limitations. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like sometimes I complain and I have to sit back and say, what am I complaining about? I have a really good life. And they'll tell me, yeah, because you have such a horrible life, you know? I'm like, did I really complain about that? That sounded really spoiled and horrible. And he's always working and trying to be better, and it's all for the kids and I. And that kind of support, and whatever I want to do, he helps me. Those little ceramic houses that go on top of the books, he rolled those out for me last night because I can't roll them out. I don't have the pressure in my hands to roll them out. Typically, Gigi makes them, but when school started, she doesn't have the time with homework and all of her activities, so he rolled them out for me.
Aww.
So I really think that it's the support of each other. I hope my daughter finds a man like her father, because those are hard to come by.
Yeah.
And that is, honestly, the blessing started there, and then it just developed into our kids. So I think building our life around our kids, and we both have the same goals in mind. We are both very, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it 100%.
Yeah.
He has that same exact mindset. There isn't anything that, he tells us no, but it's never really no.
Right.
And we know that he's going to hear this, and that's it, I'm done. But he's definitely my person. I can't even begin to, and I think it's that support from each other. I tell our kids all the time, you don't know how lucky you are to have two parents that actually love each other and care about each other. I grew up with a stepdad who I love, and I call my dad because he's the only dad I know. But my mom and my stepdad, had a little bit of a volatile relationship, and it wasn't always perfect. John and I fight about the most stupid ridiculous things. And then I go, that was stupid. Like, why'd you snap at me? Why'd you talk to me that way? It's not even like a real disagreement. Or when the American Express bill comes, that's another problem. But that's my fault. And I completely own it. Because I'm always in trouble when it comes to credit cards. But we really don't have like couple fights, like things that couples really fight about.
That's good.
My husband is the kind of man that he'll see dishes in the sink and he'll wash them. Even though when he talks, he sounds like he's all machista, and sometimes he'll make comments. I'll be like, we have a daughter, and he'll be like, yeah, but that's the way life is. But in reality, look, on Sunday when our flight got here at 10, he folded all the clothes I had. Nobody does it. My dad never did anything like that, ever. If my work week, even working part-time, gets a little crazy, he'll go to the 5 grocery stores for me to make sure everybody's happy, because he knows that when the kids aren't happy, that I start to like get anxious because, oh my God, I didn't get this, I didn't do that, because that's the way I am. So he tries to help me and go and do things for me. I told him today, you haven't played golf all week. I have this thing with Diana. Why don't you go play golf? And he goes, okay, I'll go really early so I can be done so we can have lunch before I take off. So I can't ask for more, and I think that support is a big part of my success.
Yeah.
I can't even, I don't have another recipe. And I think when you find that person that is your support system, keep that person.
Yeah.
And none of us are perfect. I have a ton of faults. I am a spoiled brat who has to have her way. I'm telling you, I don't know how this man puts up with me sometimes. I'm like, I think I was like, that was really mean. I think about it, I was like, maybe Gigi does get it from me. And then I think we kind of balance each other out. I'm very high strung. He calls me a Cocker Spaniel.
Okay.
Because he says I'm super like all the time. And he's very calm. He's very relaxed. Whereas I'm always at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I think
balance each other
I
out.
think there's a good balance. He's also a lot more reasonable than I am. He is. He thinks he has a different methodology for dealing with everything than I do. But it might not be the best way, because sometimes he internalizes and I tend to just voice what I feel, but it's admirable, and it's someone I can learn from also.
Right.
So, and I feel like sometimes he also maybe feeds off of me and my energy and my constant go, 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 go. Sometimes I drive him crazy, I'm not even gonna lie. For sure. It's gotta be most of the time. He just doesn't tell me.
Do you think growing up, was this something growing up that you thought you wanted? You know what I mean? Like growing up, did you think you would be such a family person?
I grew up in a house, we were 4. And it was wild. Wild! I mean, to study, sometimes my students will be talking to me, and I'll be like grading a paper or whatever, and they're standing right here. And I'll be like, I think you need you to repeat that because I completely tuned you out. That's life growing up with a lot of kids in the same house.
Yeah.
You have to learn to tune out or you're never going to be able to focus.
Right.
So I said, it's funny, I think you change with time. I'm going to be honest. Because when I first graduated high school, going into college, I didn't want to get married and I didn't want to have kids. I was like, I'm going to be single. I don't want to deal with any of that crap. You know what? That's not for me. And as I started getting closer to obtaining that degree, that started changing a little bit. I was like, maybe I could fall in love. Maybe I could have a family. And I told you, it came down to making a decision right out of college about my career and what I wanted to do. Because it was going to decide whether I did have a family or didn't.
Yeah.
Because again, I didn't want to be the reporter behind the desk. I wanted to be in it.
Right.
So I didn't feel this way. So things could change.
Yeah. And was John already doing what he was doing as far as his career at that point?
There's a Taylor Swift song about that. Okay. He was doing it part-time, and we actually met working together. I was the president of the company's secretary / person that did all like his PR stuff, and John was a sales guy. It was a copier company. And he got the job, and then he was hired by like that developmental league of the NBA. So he was doing that and regular college basketball. So going into our relationship, the travel was not as significant as it is now.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did our first year pregnant with Junior apart. He had to live in Atlanta because most of the games,
man.
yeah. And so I did it here because I needed to keep the insurance to be able to have the baby, and he was over there.
Right.
And while it was hard, we made it work. I mean, if we survived that, I think we could survive anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think in our relationship, in a relationship where one of the parties travels, there needs to be a lot of trust.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of trust. And I don't get upset. I tease him, I'm not gonna lie, if he goes out to dinner with the crew to a nice restaurant, because what is he gonna do? Stay in his room and not be social with his colleagues? It's kind of like when I don't go to work, or I don't go to an event for work because John's not in town. I kind of pick and choose because clearly I have a lot on my plate and I can't just be gallivanting around town. But if I have to go by myself, I will.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's my job. It's the people I work with. So I try to make an effort. So I can't expect him to stay holed up in his room because he has a game, waiting for his game to happen and just not talk to his crew.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of trust. And again, none of the life I'm living is not the life I envisioned at all when I was 19 years old.
But I think that that's the most inspiring part about it. You know what I mean? It's the idea that you don't essentially know where you're going, but like look at the beautiful life that you have, you know, and being able to take what life is throwing at you and make it the most positive, loving life that you can, you
Absolutely.
know? And I think that you have accomplished that, and will continue to be accomplishing that, you know, and that's huge, because a lot of people, I think, when something doesn't work out, they kind of wallow and go into a hole, and I think
I don't
you're
deal
a fighter.
with,
Yeah.
No, I don't deal with things that way.
Yeah.
I might have a moment. I might need a moment.
And you have to. Yeah.
I might need a moment, but I'm definitely the pick yourself up and dust yourself off kind of person.
Yeah.
There are so many things to be grateful for. I mean, I turn on the news, and just the fact that my kids are healthy, that in and of itself, I'm grateful for everything. My husband is on a plane almost every other day.
Yeah.
I mean, the world we live in today is a little scary, especially when it involves travel. So the fact that he comes home, that's something to look forward to. He recently had a schedule change. We were sitting here on Monday night, and he gets a message. Somebody got hurt. We need you to go do this game. The game is tomorrow. So he had to fly out. We were supposed to be together through today. So he had to fly out, had to go to Chicago, do a game, and came back home. He's sick. He doesn't feel well. And he was upset. And I said to him, you know, really? Is it really that bad? And then last night he had another schedule change because someone was injured for the December month. We're already having to spend Christmas away from home because he's going to be away from home. And we made a decision a few years back, once our kids were old enough, you know, the whole believing in Santa Claus and all that stuff was out, that we would not spend a holiday apart anymore. So a couple years back, we celebrated Thanksgiving in Philadelphia. I think it was Philadelphia. And this year, I'm not going to give away where we're going because I'm not allowed to share the schedule ahead of time, but we will not be in Miami. And typically we host Noche Buena here at our house. So we already had to let everybody know that we're not going to be here. And the kids were super bummed out because but we do that every year. And they kind of make a big deal about it. And I was in the car with them when he told us over the phone. And I told them, I go, you guys have to focus on the positives. I said, we were in Italy for 10 days
I
this
know.
summer.
That looked beautiful.
And
I was so jealous.
I still can't get over how amazing that was.
Had you never been?
No, I had
Oh.
never been to Italy.
Florence is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
And I thought I was in love with Madrid. I could go to Spain 1,000 times. I mean, we've been to Spain 3 times. This was just like, I left and I said, I know what I want for my 50th birthday. I want to come back here. I already decided. I know it's like 6 years away, but I know what I want. This is what I want.
Yeah.
I want to come back. I posted about it. I said, you know, when we pulled out of the marina that last day, I started crying. And it wasn't crying because it was over. I was crying because it happened.
Right.
I mean, at that very moment, I thought, wow, we are so blessed that we're all healthy, we're all here, and we got to do this kind of trip. That is a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy expensive.
What did you do? Did you like do a tour, or did you go?
We did a lot of
ship?
tours. We did no, we did plane.
Okay.
We flew. Since what John did was he had the MBA, the people who do the travel for the MBA, because we got to a point where we knew where we wanted to go, but we didn't know how to do it.
Right.
So he gave our list to the lady and said, "This is what my wife and kids want. Go." So they would come back with the itinerary, and I'll never forget, we were standing right here the day he printed it out and tells me, "Okay, it's booked. I already gave half." I started crying. "Oh, I'm really going to Italy. Oh my God, oh my God." I was like, ridiculous. Mind you, Gigi and I had just come home from Spain. Because it's pretty bad. I'm telling you, that's why I feel like sometimes I shouldn't complain. I should just stay quiet. And that day in the car, I told them, I said to the kids, remember what we just did this summer. Remember all the things we always get to do. We got to take the good with the bad.
Where did you go in Italy?
Okay, we started in Venice. We went to Florence, Rome. In Florence, we also did Pisa and Tuscany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's right there. It's a train ride.
Rome, which was an amazing history lesson. I mean, I can't even fathom. That was pretty amazing. A lot of walking. We were tired. And from there, we went to, I believe it was Sorrento, the Amalfi Coast. And, I mean, that was like, I fell in love instantly. I was like, this is got to be my home right here. This is perfect. Blown away. Just the style of living. They're such simple people. We're so complicated.
We are so complicated.
Americans.
Yeah.
We complicate everything.
Yeah. They take siestas. It's beautiful.
Siestas. Who does that?
Yeah.
A nap? I can't stop my mind long enough to take a nap sometimes. I tried that 2 days ago. I was like, oh, I have like 30 minutes before I have to start dinner. You know what? Maybe I can close my eyes and catch like a... I tried and I was like, you know, my mind doesn't stop. I better just keep going.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Because then you get tired. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, now I'm like groggy and no.
And moody.
That's not good.
So, I mean, beautiful. We drove John crazy because Gigi and I were fixated on going to the Blue Grotto.
Okay.
And the lady kept sending the paperwork back, and the first time it says Green Grotto. I'm like, that's not the one we want to go to. We want to go to the blue one. He goes, what the hell is the difference? It's a freaking grotto. I go, I want the blue one. That's the one in the pictures. It's pretty. We get to Italy, and we're looking over our itinerary, and she put that we're just driving outside of it on the boat. I was like, I want to go inside this grotto. What the heck? We're not going inside. So from Italy to reach out to the lady who's here like 20 different time zones away. Right. But we got inside.
You did the grotto.
We did the grotto. And
was it worth it?
Oh my gosh. No, first when the little boat pulls in, the water, your eyes, I guess, have to adjust to the light.
Yeah.
I'm like, the water isn't glowing. John is going to freaking kill me if this water doesn't glow. And then your eyes adjust. I'm like, there it is. Oh my God, this is amazing. But you're in there. John says that the whole thing lasts about a total of 3 minutes. Have you done it?
No, I wasn't able to.
Oh my God, the coolest thing, when we're done, I'll show you pictures. It's pretty cool. But I kid you not, you're in there for the whole process.
And the worst part is that you're so like on a high that everything goes by even faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, that was it?
Wait, it's over?
Yeah, it's over. I almost missed it. I'm telling you, pulled in. Well, one of the big things when we're going in the little tiny boat is, are you taking video? I go, not yet. And then I hit the button. He goes, you've been busting my balls for 9 months about coming to the Blue Grotto. And now you're not going to take video. I go, I'm recording. And it comes out in the video. And I'm telling you, I'm going to show you. You're going to die laughing. Again, one of the most beautiful trips I've ever taken. And we've gone to, thanks to his job, to a lot of nice places. And at that moment, I tried to remind the kids, you know, you got to focus on the positive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won't be home for Christmas. You know Santa Claus is us. We'll just pack it in the bag, a carry-on, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
So you're at a different age. You don't need toys.
Right. It's different.
It's
different.
Completely changed. My sister-in-law is battling something similar right now. They want to go to New York, but my niece still believes in Santa Claus. She goes, how can I can't.
Yeah.
She goes, I can't make it work. and she mentioned the possibility of going to New York, and my niece broke down crying because Santa Claus isn't gonna find her.
Oh.
So she's like, I have to stay here. I can't do anything.
No, you leave Santa Claus a map or
And
something.
and again, when you're a child, you don't see it. But I think when they get older, they'll see the sacrifice, the hard work.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely.
And it's something
been
that,
me.
and like we tell them, y'all like the good life. You need to work hard for good life. Good life is hard.
Yeah.
Our neighbor has a saying in Spanish: "A lo bueno se acostumbra rápido."
Oh yeah.
It's really easy to get used to the good life. But and it's a conversation I had with somebody today. Sometimes you have to be humble and nice to people because it's very easy from the top to fall.
Oh yeah. It's right there.
Uh-huh.
It's just a step.
It's just a step.
It's
All
just
it
a
takes
step.
is one error, one thing. So people need
Yeah.
to kind of keep it real.
It's true. So we're approaching the end of the podcast.
I made it.
What is? Oh, not yet.
Not
So,
yet. Oh, she's gonna try to make me cry again.
If you could tell that little girl who was trying to study in her room with so many other kids and trying and being like, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna have kids. If you could tell that girl something, anything, what would you say?
This is a Taylor Swift song too.
What is it?
Wish I could tell myself what I know now. It's 15. Come on now. Wow. Honestly, I don't even know because I feel like we learn as we grow.
Yeah.
Patience isn't something that you can teach somebody. I think life teaches it.
Yeah.
Patience is one. I'm an instant gratification kind of girl. I want to work out 2 days and look amazing. I want to eat 2 salads and think, oh wow, I lost 10 pounds. I don't want to do the legwork behind it. But in reality, everything requires work. So maybe one of the things I would say is it's all worth it. The hard work is worthwhile.
Yeah.
You know, the putting in the effort for everything. Going that extra mile and not wanting to cut corners. It's important. I think it's important to learn from the full experience, even though I might not feel that way when I'm living the experience.
Right. It's so important to take that step back and kind of.
And I try to do
that.
that. That's been a big thing for me, reflection.
Yeah.
Sometimes some things work, other things don't work. I have 2 kids with 2 completely different personalities. I know how to get around one, and the other one gives me a little more of a struggle. And now they're kind of swapping roles. It's kind of like I'm having an easier time with her now, and he's kind of like closing himself off a little bit. And he and I were like 2 peas in a pod. We would sing 80 songs in the car together. I miss my kid, but I get it. He's hormonal. He's a teenager.
Yeah.
Somebody told me I have to wait till he's 18, though it's 3 more years. I can't handle that. So, yeah, just be patient.
Be patient.
Patience is important.
Yeah. So aside from all these new endeavors that we spoke about, what else is something new that you've done recently? And it could be anything.
Oh my gosh.
I knew you'd have one right off the bat.
I got it.
Other people are like, I don't know. You're like, I know. Let me just take out my list.
I'm trying to think what it's called. Okay, it just came to me. So this summer we went to Puerto Rico also. And Gianna, who I don't even know where this came from because this child is terrified of roller coasters. She doesn't go to amusement parks to ride fun stuff. I want to go ziplining. I'm like, ziplining? I'm not going ziplining. John's like, we're all going ziplining in the rainforest in Puerto Rico.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, oh my God, they're really going to go and I'm going to have to go because I'm with them. And it ended up being fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
But I have to tell you, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Once we got through the first 2, I was like, okay, I think I can
You get the hang of like stepping off the thing.
Right. I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe that people like adrenaline junkies jump out of planes.
Oh no, I don't know. I've done zip lining, but I don't know if I could do a skydiving kind of thing.
So that's something new that I tried. I try to be open. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a creature of habit, and I tend to sometimes be closed off to change. If my husband were nearby, he would say she's always closed off to change. I like my routines, but it's nice to spice things up every now and then, and that's something new I tried, and it ended up being fun. I'm being honest. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
It even started raining towards the end.
Oh, that would have scared me. That would have scared me.
And it was one of the highest ones too. I was like, great, right now. But they taught us how to do, this was the last one, where you could do it like if you're Spider-Man.
Like
No, like you're literally hanging like this.
Oh, cool.
And I did do it. And I was like, Gigi's like, you're really gonna do it? I was like, yep, because Gigi had already done it a couple times. And I was like, you know what? This is the last one. I'm just gonna give it a try.
Yeah.
So I'm learning, and not just for shopping, YOLO can apply to other things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I gotta stop thinking that for shopping YOLO applies, because
Exactly.
I've started to have that problem too. Okay, and the final question is, what's something new you want to try
Oh Lord, that's a
to
tough
add
one.
to the 36 hours of the day?
To add to the 36 hours of the day. Lord have mercy. That's a good question. I don't even know. Honestly, I have no idea. I really don't have an answer to that. I feel like, I know this is going to sound, but I feel like we do it all. I'm not going to jump out of a plane. I don't have that in me. I really don't. I would definitely have a panic attack and a heart attack on the way down. I wouldn't even probably make it to the edge of the plane. I guess continue traveling. I feel like something I've learned in the last couple of years is that travel is so enriching. It's worth so much more than material things.
Oh my God, I know.
You make such beautiful memories. I'm never gonna forget the times we've gone skiing. I'm never gonna forget our trips to Europe. That trip that I took with my daughter for her flamenco stuff in March. I did not want to go. I was like, I'm leaving Junior behind. John's not even gonna be home. This is gonna be disastrous. And she and I made such beautiful memories on that trip. And it is something she will probably tell her grandkids about. And I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it. Mind you, who doesn't want to go to Spain?
Right.
But just because I wasn't with him and Junior couldn't go, that part made it a little more hard for me to accept. So maybe being open to different. And definitely lots of travel. I think
That's
that
great,
even though John will not be happy because he travels for work and he never wants to travel. But I feel like definitely travel.
There's something about leisure traveling, not work traveling, that really makes you live presently.
Yes. And I really felt that on that Italy trip, we were all very present. Very, very present. It was I'm telling you, I felt, at one moment I thought, wow, we're so blessed. We came here. This place was amazing. We've had an amazing trip. We had the most minor hiccup with a car, but that was it. It was beautiful. I was telling John, I hadn't gone to work or anything. I pick up my cuticles when I'm really anxious. I go, I haven't picked up my cuticles for 10 days. Look how amazing this is. So it's one of those things, although we have sayings here. There's trip and there's vacation.
Right.
That was a trip because you have so many things booked. You want to see everything. I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you want to do everything you can do.
That's very true.
We definitely did not sit on the beach relaxing. It was not vacation. It was a trip. So vacation is when we went to Puerto Rico, that we sat one of the days on the beach and did absolutely nothing, listening to Calma in the background and all that kind of stuff. Being Instagram perfect.
Right.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, what are some of the ways that people can contact you and see some of the fun things that you make when you have time to make more, because you are overwhelmed with orders, which is an amazing problem to have.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
Well, I just made the Facebook. I have an Instagram. They're both called @CreativeWork. I believe it's Work of Heart. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And that's going to be available on our Meet Our Guest page at the www. We're So Young podcast website. Thank you so much, Miss Goebel.
Diana.
It's hard for me to not call you Miss Goebel. Thanks again for listening to the We're So Young podcast. Like what you've been hearing? help spread the word. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rate, review, and tell your friends about We're So Young. And don't forget to follow us on our socials, at We're So Young Podcast on Instagram, at We're So Young Pod on Twitter, and We're So Young Podcast on Facebook. Let's all get inspired to try new things together. That's it for now. Tune in on the 1st and the 15th of each month for new episodes. Until then, step out of your comfort zones and try new things, because we're so young.